Before your business produces a new product, you may try to determine the product's sales potential. This sales potential is an estimate of the sales volumes of the product during a specified period of time. You may manufacture a small number of the product for a selected group of people to try. This group is called a sample. The sales potential of your new product is based on 1, the percent of the people in the sample who would purchase your product, and 2, an estimate of the size of the market, and 3, the average number of times that an individual might purchase your type of product during a specified time period. The market is the total number of people who might purchase the product. Now, using Mrs. Vetter as an example with the hockey champion t-shirts, okay? Her 100 was her sample. She sold out of them right away. Then one of the other things that she should have, maybe the size of her market. Maybe she should have made sure that, hey, I've got 1,000 kids roughly at school. If everybody buys one, plus their parents, that's up to maybe 3,000 shirts. Now, are all of you going to buy one? No. But maybe she could have ran a survey and said, hey, how many of you would like to do this? And then if we got back 80% of the people that said, yes, I would buy them, then I would order 80% of my population, knowing that I had enough on hand then. But well, the formula that they have for you is it says the annual sales potential is based on the estimated market size times by the individual rate of purchase, and that just means how many that you're going to buy yourself. So for instance, for me, I bought 5 of those shirts. No, they weren't all for me. I bought 1 for myself, 1 for my wife, and 3 for my kids. Okay? If we're talking about subwoofers, and Dennis has made this comment about building a box for his. Okay? If he's building boxes for those, how many people are going to buy them? Well, I'm probably only going to buy 1 box for my 1 vehicle that I have. Right? Okay? But things like...
Actually, depends if you want 2, if you want a box that fits 2, a box that fits 3.
Well, okay. But it's 1 box. Okay? But remember yesterday where we talked about Trident and said 4 out of 5 dentists prefer that? How many packs of gum are you going to buy? Way more than 1 box for the thing or 1 t-shirt. You know, I go through, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I go through gum quite a bit. And I buy the 3 packs and it usually lasts me a week. All right? So I'm buying 3 packs of gum at least a week. Okay? So then the last thing that it has to do is percent of potential purchasers. Where, again, that's where your surveys that we did yesterday, we talked about our surveys, that's where that would come into play. If you said 80% of the people would, prefer Trident, then you're going to multiply it by 80%. Okay? All right. So if you look at number 1, it says new pruning shears. Your estimated market is 40,000. 80 out of 100 people would purchase it, and the rate to purchase is 1. Okay? I only need 1 pruning shears. You guys know what a pruning shear is?
Yeah.
For gardening? Cuts trees off, or limbs or branches off. Okay? 80 out of 1,000. That's not 80%, is it? So what I could do is I could write that as 80 out of 1,000. And now I need to figure out how many I need to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 40,000 times 1 times 80. What's 40,000 times 1 times 80? Oh, more than that. I didn't divide it by 1,000 yet.
120,000?
Got to have 40,000, which means 4 zeros, times 80. which is 1 0.
Yeah, 320,000. I know that for sure. 'Cause if you take 8 times 1, that's 32. You add those to it.
40,000 times 80 is 5 zeros, Dennis. Okay. Now, here's why I knew you were off, especially when you said 3,200. And then you said you were close, Dennis?
I said 320,000.
Which actually you were closer than you think. And the reason why you said that is because you had 4 zeros here, but when in actuality we had 5 because there was another one there. All right? Now I'm going to divide that by 1,000, which this is how I do this, just so that you guys know. I don't use a calculator for this part. 1 0 lobs off there, 2 zeros lobs off there, 3 zeros lobs off there, and now I have my final answer, which I think, Tristan, you gave me originally, was 3,200. So that means that if I'm Fiskars, that's a maker of pruning shears, I think this is the kind I have. Fiskars, I'm going to need 3,200 for the city of Minot, roughly. Okay? That's my market size. All right? Number 2.
Also, go by town, the population of the town.
Possibly. Your sample size. Okay, that's what that typically is. Face cream. Your estimated market is 1,400,000 people. 300 out of 1,600 would purchase it, and you need 2. Hey, why do you need 2? Because 1 just isn't enough. Especially if you need face cream, whatever that's for. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 1,400,000 times 2, and I'm going to take that number times 320. It's going to be a big number. Times 2 times 320. I got 8, 9, or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what I got on my calculator when I typed that. Now I'm going to divide it by 1,600. And I get $560,000. These numbers, just so that you guys are going to know, some of those numbers are going to be big numbers. If you got 560,000, that's not out of the ordinary. Because think about your market size. Your market size was 1,400,000. You're expecting those people to buy 2 of the face creams probably in the year, right? I don't use face cream, but for those of you who do, right? Do you go through a couple of them? I don't know. Do you? Anybody use face cream? No?
What kind of face cream are you talking about?
I don't know. It just says new face cream. Maybe that's whether it's, I don't know, stuff for acne or whatever. I don't know if it is or not. But anyway, okay, you're expecting then out of that community or whatever it was, almost 3 million potential things sold, and you're only getting 560 sold. But if you sell them for $10 a piece, not too bad, right? Okay, number 3. The number in the sample. You have a 400 in your sample. The number of potential customers is 100. Then it says percent of potential customers is 25%. Now, just so that you guys are aware of how they got that number, they took 100 divided by 400. Okay? Just so that you guys know, in that chart, that's how they did it. They took the potentials divided by the sample. That's how they got that number right there. That make sense, Chase? Okay. Now, it says my estimated market size is 800,000. And I need 1 can. Now, since I have it in percent form like that, percent form, how many times do I move it over? 2. So what's 800,000 times 1 times 0.25? How much? Good. That's the answer for number 3. Now when you go on to 4 through 6, they want the percents. They want this part. That's part A for 4 through 7. So what you do is you take the potential customers divided by the sales, or not the, potential customers divided by the sample. That gives you the percent. Keep in mind, when you get a decimal, how many times do you move it over? 2. Some of you are still moving it 1 or 3 times. And be very careful with that. It goes 2 spots. And then you take the estimated market size, times by how many that they would purchase in a year, times by that percent, and that is your total or your annual sales potential. Okay? So they have things like 4 boxes, 10 tissues, stuff like that. Okay? What do you think? Are we okay? All right. So, then on page 555, 1 through 11.